saw about 10, 12.
We have 11 students and 12 including me. And maybe we could do a quick round of introductions.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, so if you could just meet yourself and just introduce yourself, that would be great. Students, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Wendy. I'm a senior from Hong Kong.
Very cool. Nice to meet you.
Nice. Hi, I'm Rita. I am also a senior and I'm from Southington, Connecticut.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Michaela. I'm a junior and I'm from Canton, Connecticut.
Hi, nice to meet you. Hi.
Hello, hello.
Hi, I'm Catherine. I'm a junior and I'm from Avon, Connecticut.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Cece. I'm a freshman and I'm from Maryland.
Oh, hey, Cece.
Hi, welcome.
Hi, I'm Catherine. I'm a sophomore and I'm from China.
Oh, hi,
Hi,
Catherine.
welcome.
Hi, I'm Myela. I'm a sophomore and I'm from Farmington, Connecticut.
This is so cool.
Hi,
Hey.
welcome.
Hi, I'm Ivana Rodell. I'm from Mexico City, Mexico.
Very
Hi,
cool.
Bienvenida.
I'm a freshman and I'm from Shanghai, China.
Nice to
Hi,
meet you.
nice to meet you.
And Bessie and Michaela, you want to?
Hi, I'm Bessie. I'm a freshman from China.
Hi, welcome.
Hi, I'm Michaela and I'm a sophomore from Connecticut.
Welcome.
Welcome, welcome.
All right, and I guess I'm Sam. I'm the teacher of this class. I'm originally from Korea.
Very
Welcome.
nice.
Very nice, Sam.
All right, nice to
Sam,
meet
thank you for setting this up.
Well, thank you for having us.
Absolutely. So I'll go ahead and kick it off. We chatted a little bit about format of today and just kind of an intro into what we do. I'm Matt Cooper. I'm the executive chef, and I have Chef Carmen and Chef Letitia with us as well. So we are at the stadium. We're actually in the middle of prep week for a soccer game that we have on Saturday coming up. And I wish we could show you our kitchen, but we have, what would you say, 80 cooks? We have about 80 cooks in the kitchen right now, just going crazy with prep and production. So it takes about a full week to produce for one game, one soccer game, one football game. So, but I'll go ahead and jump it off. What we'll do is I'll kind of give an intro into what I do in my position, and then kind of a backstory on how I got here. And then we'll pass it off to Chef Carmen, Chef Tish, and they'll do the same thing, kind of tell you what their role is currently, and then their journey in getting here. So I think, if any of you know Clubhouse, that's where me and your teacher met, and there's a lot of cool things happening on there. You get to meet a lot of people from around the world. And that was something we did last night. We just talked about our backstory on how we got into this industry. And, it's not all pretty. There's some crazy parts to it. It's not an easy industry, but it is very rewarding. I personally love what I do now. But it was a journey. It was a hard journey and a long journey. And, a lot of hard work goes into being in this industry, but the payoff is rewarding once you get to the point that you want to get to. So, again, I'm Matt Cooper. I'm the executive chef here at the stadium. Just to give you a snapshot of what all we do here, we have 200 suites, 8 clubs and restaurants, 53 concession stands, and catering. So we cater to the players. The players' family actually has their own, and children has their own little catered area. All the press and media, the locker rooms. There's probably about 25 to 30 catered events as well on a game day. So a lot going on. Again, that's why it takes about 80 cooks to produce all week long for one game. And then from that, we have on game day about 250 cooks that fill up the stadium and go in all the different clubs and suites and concession stands. And, that's where all of us kind of got to start in cooking, line cooking, dishwasher. I think all of us started, at the bottom and worked our way up. So for me personally, I started at an Italian restaurant when I was 13 or 14 years old and did not care about cooking, didn't know I would be interested in cooking. It was a job for me. And I did that actually for 7 years. From that, I went to Kennesaw University, which is a college, student dining. And that's where I started to kind of fall in love with the culinary world and food, and learned a lot while I was there. Moved over to, and I'm going to kind of just talk through this really quick because I could talk for hours about my journey, but I don't want to hold up too much time. But to give you a snapshot, went from college to college, helping open up Georgia Tech University after I got a little experience under my belt. and then went to Turner Field. And Turner Field was the first sports stadium I worked at for the Atlanta Braves. Started out as a cook, a supervisor, worked up to a sous chef. And then from there, I had one opportunity that I do want to kind of highlight, because it's one of those things where you never know who's watching or what you're doing. And you always have to look the part, dress the part, act the part. And I knew that growing up, and I knew that in my career that, you have to represent all the time. It's not good enough to represent 90% of the time or even 95% of the time. You have to be on your game 100% of the time. And if you do, and you are, then opportunities will happen. And I've seen it proven time and time again, and myself included. I had no clue what I wanted to do when I was a chef at Turner Field. I was a chef for maybe a year, not even. So I was very, very new, very green. I got that position. I was given the opportunity for that position. I didn't earn the position. So that's kind of deep if you think about it. I was given an opportunity, and you can either succeed or you can fail. And I took it as a challenge. And I knew that, I didn't go to culinary school. That's a big part of my story. I didn't have traditional learning. And I just went from that and said, okay, I'm going to do the best I can, learn as much as I can, read books, go online, talk to mentors, and just get a good feel for this industry. And there was one time that I had the executives from the company that I worked for coming to the stadium, and we were, everyone was, they were coming just to see what we were doing. But I took it very seriously, knowing that I'm in my world, I'm in Atlanta. I don't know anybody else outside of Atlanta or even the company. That was the first sports stadium I worked at. So I went home the night before, I shined my shoes, I pressed my clothes, my chef coat I ironed with so much starch that it was cutting my neck. And I wanted to represent well. So I did that. And I knew I wanted to get myself in front of these executives. So, when I heard they came in the building and they were in the kitchen, I still remember this. This was probably 10 years ago, over a decade ago. And I dropped what I was doing and I ran. I didn't walk. I grabbed my stuff. I ran down to the main kitchen just because I wanted to get in front of these people and just introduce myself. I didn't want anything from them. I didn't know I could get anything from them. I just wanted to introduce myself. That was it.
And you know that.
You didn't know the story?
I know the story about him.
Yeah.
But yes, he's 100% right in everything he's just said.
This is how I got my start, and just kind of inserting yourself and making opportunities happen. So what I did was I ran down there. I saw a team of 8 people, all older than me. I'm this young kid. I'm 20-something years old, and I just got in front of them and introduced myself and started chatting with. At the time, was the director of operations for Tampa Bay Buccaneers Stadium and the executive chef. What I didn't know was they were actually there scouting for a chef.
Wow.
So, doing all my prep work and looking the part, acting the part, representing well, and coming down there and introducing and walking through the work that I was doing, the systems that I was putting together and incorporating into production and all that. And it was a 10-minute conversation, nothing special. It was just, this is what we do here. Let me walk you through it. Nice to meet you. And that was it. And I walked away, and I just felt good about it because I got myself in front of these executives, and it was just a good feeling. So long story short, I went back to work, and about an hour or two later, my chef at the time called me into his office, and he said, "Hey, what do you think about moving down to Tampa and taking a sous chef position down there?" And I grew up in Atlanta. I was there my whole life. My family's there. My wife's family, or girlfriend at the time's family, was all there. And I said, "Well, that sounds really cool. I love it. When would this happen?" And he said, "Well, they want you down there in 2 weeks." So this was a huge shock to me. I had a girlfriend at the time,
That's how it works.
and another opportunity that's given to me before I really earned it. So I accepted the position. I moved down to Tampa, and again, long story short, I was there 4 years. I learned more in those 4 years than I probably would have in a decade of schooling and working in restaurants. And I learned sports stadiums, and what I did was I raised my hand every time they wanted somebody to travel. So they knew that after the first, and this is Carmen's story too, when they say, "Can you work?" my hand was always up. And then after a couple times, they knew, okay, we can count on Matt to go to Las Vegas, California, New York, Philadelphia, Washington, DC, Florida, everywhere. Our company is very large, so it was always World Series happening, big conventions in Las Vegas happening. So it was really cool to be able to venture outside of my home account and learn every sports under the sun: hockey, football, baseball, basketball, every sport, arenas, convention centers. And that's what got me to this point right here. I was able to see how every operation worked, and more importantly, how it didn't work. I saw different operations fail because they weren't incorporating the right systems and procedures like I saw at a different arena or a different convention center. So I started gaining all this knowledge and learning the systems and toolbox. Yes, I love that. Toolbox. I started just putting stuff in my toolbox and learning and taking little bits and pieces from all these different places and putting them and building my own system and how I felt like a stadium should run. And I did that for 4 years and was pretty successful at it until I got, my wife got pregnant. We wanted to get back home to Atlanta. Another opportunity, in traveling, the president of the company actually left and went to the company that I'm at now. And we hadn't talked for a year or two. And I ended up giving him a call, or no, I saw a posting for SunTrust, for State Farm Arena for the Atlanta Hawks. And I saw it was Levy Restaurants, which the guy that I was, the president of the company that left is in charge of that. So I gave him a call and said, hey, I saw a job posting. Is that position available? And he goes, Matt, this is the craziest moment I've probably ever seen. I actually have a sticky note on my computer with your name on it because I wanted to reach out to you and see if you wanted to come back home to Atlanta. And it worked out and it was perfect. So I came and interviewed. I flew up 2 days later, I think, walked the stadium or the arena, did an interview, got offered a position right then and there. And then I remember leaving, driving away. Mercedes Benz Stadium, which is the home of Falcons and Atlanta United, was still being built. It was in construction phase, and I drove by Mercedes Benz Stadium, and it was like almost all the way built, but not quite. And I remember looking at it, and it's a huge, huge stadium, $1.8 billion, I think is what it is. Crazy. And I said, I want that.
I
That's what I
told you.
want.
You see, I know him. I knew he was gonna
Yeah.
say that one.
So again, to the story, like, go after it and get it. If you want something, no one is going to give it to you. Yes, I got opportunities given to me, but I had to run with them and prove myself. But in life, no one's going to give you anything. If you want something, you have to make it happen. And I've learned time and time again, I mean, the power of positivity is one thing. And then just putting it out in the universe. I say it all the time. I put things out in the universe, and for some reason, it always happens in one way or another. It always comes together. And so I went home. I was so super excited to have the position for the Atlanta Hawks basketball, but football was my love. I love football. I love just, how crazy 70,000 people at a stadium is. And I ended up calling that the president of the company and saying, I really appreciate this opportunity, but I really, really want to be in football. Is there any opportunity? And what he told me was, well, that team's already built. They have all the chefs from the old Georgia Dome coming over. And, if something pops up, I'll definitely let you know. And, a week or two later, one of the chefs dropped out. I got my foot in the door. I got a executive sous chef position for concessions, came on board as a concession chef. The whole team was already there in place. We were about 2 months away from opening the stadium, and a lot of stuff happened then. But at the end of the day, the executive chef ended up stepping out. And because I inserted myself into every area, I was the concession chef, but I didn't just focus on concessions. I learned suites, catering, clubs and restaurants, and just slowly kind of incorporated my systems into these areas because they weren't set up properly. They weren't set up for success. So when I learned that the executive chef was leaving, like 3 weeks before we opened the stadium, somebody had told me, and this is probably the biggest piece of information or feedback that I've gotten from somebody that I always use, but basically what it is always do the job above you without being asked. So then when a position opens up, you're already doing it. You're there, you slide into place. And when they say, okay, this position's open, they have nowhere else to look except for you because you're right there in front of them. So I use that. Someone told me that years prior, and I just always did that. I always learned all these different areas that weren't part of my job title or job description. So in doing that for a month or two, I incorporated my systems into all of these different areas of the stadium. And then when the chef said he was leaving, I was the last man standing, and it was a no-brainer, and they ended up offering me the position. And just to back up a little bit, when I was at Turner Field, and I just want to make sure, can you give me a thumbs up? Everyone can still hear, right? Awesome, beautiful. So I do that every now and then just to make sure. So when I was at Turner Field, when I first started my career, I was in my very early 20s, and the executive chef that I said offered me the position to go down to Tampa. There was all this talk that he was an executive chef when he was 30 years old. And I remember at the time thinking, how do you get to that position at 30 years old? That just seems crazy to me. Unless you start when you're 5, how do you get the position to run a stadium like this at that age? And that was kind of in the back of my head, my goal, like, wow, that'd be so cool to be an executive chef at 30 years old. I didn't know how I was going to get there. I didn't think it was possible, but I had it in my head that that would be cool to do. Totally forgot about it. And you know, when I got offered the position to be the executive chef at the stadium, I was 30 years old, and it hit me. And I remember calling my mom, and it's crazy because it just to talk to her and tell her I got offered this position, and I'm 30 years old. Like that's unheard of. And I didn't go to culinary school, and I don't have formal training. And just, you know, all the odds are against me to be in that position, and it happened. And it's just because you push. Yeah, you put it in the universe and you push forward, and you continue to grow yourself and learn and learn and learn. And now us as a team are running the biggest stadium in the country, in the world. I mean, we do a lot of crazy things, Super Bowls, championships. I mean, we do some crazy things and make a lot of money for a lot of people. And I mean, I think we do, just to give you a glimpse, I think we did like $50 million a year for 3 or 4 years in a row, which is just crazy to think of that much money coming through this building, and we're in charge of all that. So, you know, that's a long, kind of a short story, but a long story on how I got to where I am. But yeah, that's kind of it. So, you know, the moral of the story is always push, and you know, if you want something, don't wait for it to be given to you. You have to go out and get it, and always put yourself in a position where you'll be looked at for a promotion. You'll be looked at for a job position because you've already put in the work. You know, there's a lot of people, and even a lot of my cooks that, you know, I've heard so many times, that's not my job. You know, a cook asking them to mop the floors, that's not my job. It wasn't my job to do a lot of the stuff I did, but I did it because I wanted to gain the experience and the knowledge. So then you can get into a position that I'm at now, and these ladies are at now. So I'm going to go ahead, and I don't know if we want to do any questions. Yeah, let's. Does anyone have any questions before we move on to Chef Tish? And if not, no worries. We can hold it for the end if you have questions at the end.
Question now, or give it till later? What was that?
I was just like, that's so cool.
Oh, I don't know if you heard her, but we had a student say that's so cool. Right?
Oh, that's awesome. Good. I'm glad. I was hoping I wasn't on mute the whole time. So. Thank you so much.
Well, didn't you want to go to one of these like football schools?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I do. I want to go to a big college school. So.
Yeah. So you might actually end up, you know, stopping by their stadium to watch one of these
Yeah,
games.
and I'll say, if anyone's ever in Atlanta, definitely reach out to your teacher, reach out to me, because we'd love to show you around. If you ever get the opportunity, we'll show you around. And Chef Tish is going to talk about what she does. Her job is she wears many hats, but one of them is a culinary instructor, and she teaches and trains culinarians to get in the workforce. So I'll go ahead and pass it off to Chef Tish.
All right.
Yeah. We'll hear all the stories first and then ask questions later. I think you have
That works.
to tell. So, all right.
Hey, everybody. Matt's journey is pretty awesome, right? But I'm a little different. I'm actually a veteran. I was in the Navy for a very long time, about 11 years. And I didn't know that I wanted to be a chef. I always liked to cook. I was a cop and a weapons instructor and a non-lethal weapons instructor. So I was pretty tough, doing a lot of different things, working with Marines and training sailors and being a police officer and a watch commander. So honestly, my entire career was based around law enforcement. But I found joy in food. And I finally got stationed in Sicily, Italy. And that's kind of where I discovered that I wanted to do this for a living. And it made me really happy. So I decided to just go face forward and just say, hey, I'm going to get out of the military. I'm going to apply to culinary school. And that's what I did. So I just made the plans to exit through perform to serve in the U.S. Navy and get my books in order. I literally got out of the Navy in April and started culinary school in May. So I was right into what I wanted to do. I went to Le Cordon Bleu, and I'm a triple graduate of Le Cordon Bleu, actually. I went to the Cordon Bleu for Culinary Arts. I graduated on Friday, and then on Monday, I started baking and pastry at Le Cordon Bleu. Yes, literally. And then after that, I decided I wanted to go to work. I went to work at the Ritz-Carlton. So I never really started as a dishwasher. I kind of got straight into fine dining, but that was because I worked really hard at culinary school. I volunteered for everything. I worked with the chefs almost every day after school. I worked with the Governor's Cup competition. I inserted myself to a place similar to Matt, to where I had to be paid attention to, right? And I had to excel because I was a career changer. I didn't have a lot of time. I was 31 when I got to culinary school. So I knew that I didn't have a lot of time to get to where I wanted to go. And I knew I had to get to where I wanted to be very quickly. I gave myself 10 years to be at the top of my game. And so I just went head first. And after I graduated from there, I went to Ritz-Carlton, did an internship there, and I worked there for about a year and a half. I left Ritz-Carlton and went back to school to finish out my degree. And after that, I went to work for restaurants. I worked with Ford Fry. He's actually a huge name here in the South. He has several restaurants in Atlanta, also in Houston now. And I worked for him for about 2 years. I started as a line 2. Now, mind you, I left Ritz-Carlton as a line 2. I wanted to move myself up to line 1, but the Ritz-Carlton is a very fancy place, right? And they were like, no, you're gonna come in and work with Garde Manger, and because you're just out of school, no matter what. Yeah, so Garde Manger is actually a cold food production kitchen. So it's all the cold food comes out of Garde Manger. It's very necessary to have Garde Manger because whenever you're doing pastry plating, salads, aspics, terrines when fine dining, also any kind of cold pasta salad you can think of, fresh fruit, all those things, crudité, which is basically just cut up vegetables with a nice sauce, hummuses, all those lovely things I did. But I didn't just do that. I also, I inserted myself into the banquet scene as well. I wanted to make sure that they knew that I could be cross-utilized in every area. And so that was really fun. And then I think when I got to restaurant, I knew that I needed to push my game up. And within about, I think maybe 4 months, I was up to line 1. And then by the time I left 2 years later, I was a lead line and I was running pretty much the kitchen myself as a sous. I was acting sous, but I wasn't getting paid for sous. But it was important for me to be able to display the fact that I could do the job. I was training all of our new employees, and I said, well, I want to do more. I'm a chef. I can't be a line cook forever. So I decided to move on. I went to work for Victory Brands. Victory Brands has several restaurants around Atlanta. They have a really popular place called Victory Sandwich Bar. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. It's pretty awesome. And I went there as a chef. And I managed about 3 restaurants when I first started there. And then I got consolidated down to 1 property. I stayed there for about 7 to 8 months. I decided, well, I got another opportunity coming my way. And it was pretty cool. So I actually started a nutrition program for a private school here in Atlanta. Tuition's about $30,000 just for like kindergartners. So it's actually very expensive. And they wanted a chef that could come in and actually build a nutrition program for them from the bottom up. And I had about 3 months to do it. And when I went to the public school meeting for all new curriculums and new programs in food, they were like, oh my God, how long do you have? Like 6, 7 months, a year? And I was like, no, I got 3 months and I've got to put in equipment. I've got to write SOPs. I've got to hire. I've got to establish all of our vendor relationships. And I've got 3 months to do it.
And just to add to that, those are all the little behind the scenes stuff. Like you think starting a nutrition program at a school is writing a menu, ordering product, and making it happen. But everything she just said is like a little tiny fraction of what all it really takes. So it goes very, very deep. And that's why we do what
Yeah.
we do and we get paid to do what we do because it's super, it's complex. There's a
Yeah.
lot of moving pieces to the food industry. So I just want to put that out there.
Thanks, Matt. So it's a lot, like Matt said, it was a lot of things to do in those 3 months, right? So I did that. We got it going. I was there for about 2 years. We started with about 40 people eating that first year, and they basically gave me a prediction that we would maybe do about 70 at the end of the year. No, I like to excel. So but we started with about 40 students, and then 70 with staff. And by the time I left 3 years later, we were at 100% sign up, feeding 200 people a day. So that was really awesome for me. I had an opportunity to grow as a chef, learn all the ins and outs, and then move on to my next career. I worked for Kaiser Permanente as a corporate chef for quite some time. And then I did some cozy meal, which was basically teaching from my home in different residences before, the light shines. And
here.
I saw that Levy was looking for a culinary instructor, and being a chef was important to me. Oh, I forgot, I did go to Food Network. It's pretty cool tidbit. I did go and compete on Food Network on Guys Grocery Games. I thought you guys might like that one. I didn't win, but I did represent the Navy for it. It was a pretty awesome experience. But it, just kind of gave me a little bit stuff to put under my belt. But you want to talk?
Guys, it's not always about winning. It's about having fun too.
Yeah, right.
So she went in, it's an experience, she learned, and
Yeah.
keep moving.
It was great for me to learn, right?
It's
Because
fun.
there were chefs that had been there for about 20 years, and at that point I had only been cooking professionally for 5 years. So it was actually a huge feat for me and a huge step.
Just to do it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Just to get
She
there,
get
right?
in there.
So and I didn't even have to apply; they found me. So that was pretty great. But then Levy, I was actually on my way to a job, and I was going through my phone, and I saw that Levy was looking for a culinary instructor. Now, mind you, the culinary instructor position they required a master's degree. And I looked at it and I said, well, girl, you don't have a master's degree. And but I said, you know what? You've got a lot under your belt. How about you apply for it? You're an instructor. You're a journeyman instructor. You've instructed all different types of folks, and you can cook your butt off. How about going in there and trying it out? So I applied that morning, and then that same day, I actually got called back for a hire view interview that exact same day that I applied. I was so excited. And then after I got the call to come in, I actually met Chef Matt, and I went for something called a panel interview, where I had to interview with 3 different entities, and just a little bit more about my position as the culinary instructor and program operating manager for the now Westside Works Culinary Academy. I worked for Levy Restaurants, and I also work for the Arthur Blank Family Foundation, and in our partner, Levy's partner, Mercedes Benz Stadium. So, it's really important. It was really important for me to be a right fit. Matt and my other panelists, Mark and Brian, were really excited to see me, but they weren't sure if I was going to be able to teach and cook at the same time. So after we talked for a while, so we talked for a while, and then I left, and I was so excited. And I got a call back. They were like, well, you're probably going to come back. I'm like, I hope so. And then I got the call back to come back for my second interview. Now, after my second interview, was that the tasting?
Yeah,
I
we
thought
set
you
it
did
up.
an
It was
interview and then a tasting.
Yeah, I did another interview. Came back for my second interview. And then I came back for a tasting. My second interview was with Dietmar, right? I think that was with the COO of Mercedes Benz Stadium. And then I came back for a tasting with Mark and Chef Matt here. And after my tasting, I had to come back for another interview with the president and vice president of the Arthur Blank Family Foundation. And that was the deciding factor. Since I've come aboard, we've expanded the curriculum. We've rewritten the curriculum completely from scratch. So we created a 6-week program. It's very in-depth. We include restaurant simulation, protein fabrication, which is basically breaking down any fish or chicken or beef or any type of original animal from its original form down to the form of cooking and eating. At that point, we also do baking 101. We have international cuisines that I teach as well. We have different chefs coming in all from all over the country now, teaching and going over demoing and talking about their journey. We've got several things that we do. And then now I'm also doing some catering as well. I do catering. I also assist in clubs and concessions. I actually have 2 restaurants now. One run originally on that are affiliated with my academy. All my graduates go to work, not all of them. I actually have placements all around Atlanta with our partners who have been gracious enough to place our students and get involved with us. Proof of the Pudding is another premier placement partner. But I work in concessions as well. So with concessions, the 2 restaurants, and now, you know, I don't think I can wear any more hats at this juncture.
Oh, yeah, you can.
But you know, I'm really excited for how my career's been going here. I've been about 2 years now, and it's been really exciting. I have a great team, and I'm at my point where I've reached the limit that where I said I was going to be in 10 years. I've accomplished quite a bit, but let me just say to you that it takes a lot of hard work, blood, sweat, and tears. I've worked 18-hour shifts. I've come in at 6 o'clock in the morning and left at 6 o'clock at night. So, you know, and 7 o'clock at night. And it's not something that I want to glamorize for you guys, but I want to say to you that if you have a true passion for being in culinary or food and beverage, then you can get where you want to go as long as you are dedicated, passionate, and you put one step in front of the other each day and strive to reach your goals, and you will make it. I think that's pretty much all I have.
Let's give it up for Tish.
I'm going to pass it on to my lovely colleague, Chef Carmen.
Hello, everyone.
Just real quick, does anyone want to say anything to Chef Tish?
Oh, question, sure. Go ahead and unmute and ask question.
Hi.
I was wondering, do you have a favorite role out of everything that you've done?
Favorite role?
Kind of had like hats throughout your career?
I think my favorite role is being the culinary instructor. You know, I have, you know, because it's involved in so many of my other hats, it really gives me an opportunity to not only just see my students graduate, but also see them at work and, you know, have an opportunity to instruct even when I'm not in the classroom. I take that role outside the classroom and onto the field every day.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good question.
Awesome.
All right, so we're going to pass it off to Chef Carmen,
Yes, all
who
right,
has been looking forward to this
Don't
for
mind me,
weeks.
guys. I'm a little nervous, but this is always happens to me.
So let me just start by saying Chef Carmen, who says she's nervous, runs about 8 different clubs and restaurants and is in charge of like 30 or more cooks. On game day, it's about 80 cooks.
Yes.
And she runs around the stadium probably 20 miles on a game day. And she's nervous sitting here to talk to you guys today. So it never ends. But I am too. I've been nervous too. So.
Hi, everyone. My story kind of similar to both of them. I came from New York. No, originally I'm from New York. I started, I don't know if you guys ever heard of tennis, the US Open. So that.
What's our last audio?
They're on mute.
You're on mute.
Sorry, can you hear us now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Sorry, it was
Yeah.
just the last couple seconds.
All right, guys. So I don't know what part you guys heard last, but I'm from New York. I started this whole. To me, I took it as a hobby. I would go every 2 weeks and just go work the U.S. Open at the tennis in Flushing Meadow Park in Queens, New York, and I would just go and have fun. To me, it was okay. I was young, go make money. It was good money. You make really good money. And there was one day there was this chef, and he asked me to come and work in suites as a prep cook. I started as a prep cook, and when I started with them, there was actually the company back then was Rich and Associates, which is actually the sister of Levy now, because we're all owned by Compass Group. And I did my 2 weeks, and the chef, he set me up for an interview. He's like, you know, he called them. He was like, you guys, you know, she's really good. She catches on to everything. So I went for the interview, but when I went, I actually had my sister-in-law with me that day, and she wanted the same position I did. But back then I was kind of going through a personal situation with my daughter. And when we went, I said, you know what, it's fine. She can take the position. I'm fine. They were like, but can we still interview you? And I was like, okay. So I got interviewed, and this was actually for corporate. So I did corporate for 10 years with Restaurant Associates in New York. And so she asked me, she calls me after she interviewed me, she called me that same day, and she's like, hey, can you start tomorrow? And I was like, start tomorrow? I was like, no, I have to, get babysitter and stuff ready. So they gave me 2 weeks. And then, when I started there with them back then, we're talking about back in 98. Yeah. And it was like only $7 an hour. And I was like, wow, a single mom for $7 an hour. But I went ahead. I was like, you know what? I took it. And I started doing, I think it was catering. Yeah. So I did catering all on my own. I had to slice all my meats. My arms that day when I got home, I was like, what did I just get myself into?
Oh my God.
It was really hard, but, like Chef Matt said, I never worry about, I wasn't there to prove nothing to anyone. I was going to prove it to myself. And, like he said, you never know who's looking at you and who's watching. So I kept on. And then after that, I would go and work all the stations outside. So I would do the sandwich station. I would do the action station, the pizza station. So there was really nothing that I never did. And, a lot of them back then, I can remember that they would like look at me and treat me a certain way because they thought that they were like, okay, she's just new. They didn't know that they were not taking advantage of me. I was actually learning and grabbing. So, then not even a month I was there, and they gave me $1.50 raise. And then it just kept going and it kept going. And so then I opened up a lot of properties with Restaurant Associates. I did a lot of that. I remember when 9/11 happened, I had just opened up HSBC Bank. And I remember that day we had to stay there too late. We had to work. And I was like, I'm going home, guys. I'm not going to stay here all day. But, the whole week, everyone just came and just started eating. Everybody was, I guess they were so nervous. So that's all they did. So then I had to go and I had to have surgery. I had an incident at work and I had to have surgery. So when I was coming back, there was a situation with Restaurant Associates, and I didn't like the feeling that they kind of gave me. So I said, you know what? So I let it go. I just left the job. They never closed the doors. Everything was always, they said, Carmen, thank you. So it wasn't like, I did everything the right way. Gave him the 2-week notice, did what I had to do. So then I'm home, and the US Open
real
time.
quick, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's an important point, is if you're ever leaving a job, always make sure no matter what happened, you do it the right way, because you never know when you might need those people might need you. And if Carmen had just walked out and just left it and didn't give notice, she probably wouldn't be sitting here today.
Yep.
So because she did it the right way, she gave the notice, it was respectable on both sides. She's able to jump back in there, which is probably going to be the next part of her story because of that. So
something interesting happened actually with our restaurant. So actually that same summer, I'm sitting at home and I'm like, wow, I don't have a job right now. What am I going to do? So I said, let me just go work the US Open. Because I remember US Open's there, that's 2 weeks. They're going to take me. So I go and I get online. I remember I was online for like 3 hours that day. And I didn't know that, I thought it was a Restaurant Associates. I didn't know that it was Levy Restaurants that had just taken over. And someone came out and said, oh, today is only for front of the house, not back of the house, which back of the house is culinary. In front of the house is, all the manager, the servers and all of that, right? So I said, wow, after I stood here for almost 2-3 hours. So I went back the next day and I stood back on that line. And there was 2 chefs there, they kept looking at me. So as soon as it was my turn to actually get interviewed, when they interviewed me, all I said was, if you guys give me the opportunity, I believe back then, I've been doing the US Open for 33 years. So, when I told him the time that it's been, his ears were like, ding, ding, ding. That's what I remember that day. And he's like, well, can you start ahead of time, help us with prep? And I was like, yeah, why not? So I will never forget, I started with Levy on August 20th, 2006. And when I got there, everyone kind of knew my name. It felt kind of weird because, I had just had surgery on my feet and it was like really hard for me to go back, and because, you know, when you do the US Open, that's like 18 hours, like the chefs are telling you, it's rough, you know? But then again, if you can do the US Open, everything else I say in this business is a walk in the park. It is one of the toughest events, sports and entertainment that's out there. And so when I went, everybody was like, oh, thank you for being here. Oh my God, we're waiting for you. You know, so I got to really meet all the VPs in the company, because the regional chef for restaurant associate that was there told them, if anyone can help you guys here that knows this, it's her. So that's how a lot of it got put up on me. So, you know, so the US Open starts, everyone's lost. I'm trying to help them organize, you know, so that happens. And then there was this chef that I met that I will say I cannot be no more grateful to him than I don't even have words for him. He took me, I say, under his wing. He didn't know much about me. He just, you know, came in there and he's like, hey, I should bring you to traveling. And I was like, travel? I was like, okay, that's fine. I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. So then that came, the US Open's over, October comes, and it's towards the end of the, what was it? NASCAR, no, yeah, I did. I started with NASCAR. And it was in Texas, in Dallas, Fort Worth, where I started first. And he's like, I should bring you. I said, okay, let's go. When I got there, I had no idea what I was getting into. I was telling my friend that I was going to bring her with me. And I was like, we got to save money. We got to pay for hotels. I didn't know that they give you per diem. Hotels are paid for. I didn't know that, you know, to and from the airport, everything is, yes, food, everything. So that was kind of cool, you know? And then after that, you know, Levy did Levy Restaurant didn't have any properties in New York. We had nothing but the US Open, and it was only every 2 weeks. So I continue and I travel with them for exactly 6 years. I've done NASCAR in Vegas. I've done the Texas. I actually came out here to Atlanta to do NASCAR. I've done Microsoft. I've done what is it? The sports and entertainment, pretty much anything that's out there, I've done it with them. And then I started, you know, learning how to do tastings. So every time I go back to New York, you know, I was like, damn, excuse my French, guys, but I said, I need a job, like a steady job. I can't continue to do this. So I actually went back to Restaurant Associates. And you know what was the best feeling, guys, that I got when I went back to them, that I sat there for an interview? They said to me, Carmen, I'm sorry, we cannot afford you. They couldn't afford me because my resume already had grown so much from everything that I've done. I mean, I actually did prepare the food, and it was like isolated. We had security. I didn't know who it was for until after it was all done and, you know, sent out, and it was for Obama's family. So I got to do that. The commissioner in New York, the police commissioner. So I've done, I also cook for the douche and douches. Yes, them. Yes. So they came out too. So then yes. So then in 2012, Barkley opened up. That's the basketball. And I opened up that property, and I was there for about 3 years. And then I was offered to go down to Chicago. And that is the Arlington racetrack, which is horses. And I took it. I went there, and I was there for 3 seasons. And then I met these lovely people here. And I came to interview. And it's funny though, because, you know, as Matt was speaking about him, I was remembering that when I came here, I actually walked the stadium with him and the senior back then, right? Senior chef. And I actually thought that he was a senior chef. And I even told the other chef that I actually really thought that you were. And he was like, what? I was like, yeah, because you were like really quiet. You were just walking, and he was the one doing the talking and explaining. Yeah. So I was like, you know, and, you know, so I've been doing this for about 35, 36 plus years now, and I enjoy it. I love it. Like I always say, I go to bed in peace. I wake up in peace. I come here. I have fun. Yes, it's a lot of work, a lot of hours, but it's fun. You know, you have to love what you do and enjoy it, and just you keep looking forward and moving forward. Just like Matt said, you never know who's watching you, and that's how you get to the next level. You know, it's not, you don't have to prove nothing to anyone. As long as you're doing what you have to do and you go above and beyond, you'll get there. That's it, guys. I did it.
So if there's a theme through all of us that have talked, it's always just push and push and push and make your dreams a reality. And don't wait, don't sit around and wait for somebody to give you something, go after it, take it. And that's why all three of us are here speaking to you all, because the theme of all three stories is we didn't sit back and wait. We went out and got it, and it kept inserting. I think all three of us said the same thing about kind of putting ourselves in positions to be looked at. And you know, the people that don't move up and stay stagnant are the ones that get comfortable. And there's a saying that I learned recently is be comfortable being uncomfortable. Be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's good.
And what that means is, you know, if you're comfortable, then you're probably not learning and you're probably not growing. So when you're uncomfortable, it's because there's new things around you, there's new surroundings, there's new stuff happening. So I actually encourage being uncomfortable because that's how I learn and continue to grow. And I never, you know, I've been here 4 years and I never stop growing and learning. And especially now, we're doing a lot of cool things. And I'm going to go ahead and put something out in the universe and see it come to fruition. Everyone in this room can see it as well come to fruition. Food and Beverage Magazine is a magazine that's an industry magazine. There's 14 million readers a month for this magazine. And I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Over the next 3 months, you're going to see one of us, if not all of us, featured in that magazine. And I'm gonna go the distance. It's gonna be the cover of that magazine.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Let's do it.
So where are we? May, June, July, or August? Over the next 3 months, each month, just go on Food and Beverage Magazine, FB101.com, and look. Within the next 3 months, we're going to be featured in that magazine, and we're going to make that happen. So that's just one of those things. Put it out in the universe, make it happen. If you want something, put it out there, and it's the law of attraction. If you haven't heard the book or watched the movie or read the book, The Secret.
Yeah, The Secret.
It's the law of
That's how I live,
attraction,
guys.
the power of positivity. What we're doing right now is putting it out in the universe. I've been putting that out in the universe for the last couple of weeks, and I'm going to make that happen. So you just have to be persistent and confident. Confident is the key to all of that. You can't, you know, I wasn't confident for a long time because what is that one thing?
Could have fooled me.
Internally.
Yeah, you could have fooled me.
So internally, it's I forgot the saying, but like, you know, I didn't get internally confident until pretty recently, to be honest with you. And I've been here 4 years. So, you know, a year from now, I would never have made that comment about being on the cover of a magazine. What the heck is that, you know? But because my eyes are open and I'm pushing forward and we're doing stuff like this with you all, we're going to get our name out there. These chefs are going to be featured. We're going to do a lot of cool things with the platform that we have. So, you know, I hope this helps. I remember being in high school and talking and seeing, what was it, when you would have your parents come in and do career day? That's it, career day. And this is crazy that I'm on the other side of that now because I am, you know, still pretty young. So it's weird to be talking to you all like my dad did when I was in your age in high school, and he would come in and talk about career day, and I was so excited to have my dad there telling about what he does. So pretty cool. Appreciate it.
Hey, and you know, I know that, you know, right now that social media is a huge thing. And so I really wanted to point out to you guys that the Westside Works Culinary Academy does have a Instagram. So if you want to, you know, go to our Instagram and kind of see what's happening, my assistant Shelby is awesome. He's always putting all the new videos up. So please, you know, feel free to follow us and, you know, follow us and see what's happening and kind of get a glimpse into some of the things that happen in the culinary school. I think you guys will enjoy it, and I'd love to see you guys on there visiting us and following what we're doing.
Well, since Chef Tish did a shameless plug, I'm going to go ahead and do a shameless plug as well.
Let's go.
On Instagram, on Facebook, go to The Virtual Flavor. Check out that Instagram because The Virtual Flavor, THE, The Virtual Flavor is my personal Instagram. And we're featuring a lot of behind the scenes of what we do here at the stadium. So I just started this like a week or two ago, but I've been uploading content, and every game day, prep week, all that, we're going to start uploading videos and pictures and some really cool things that we're doing at the stadium. So definitely check that out on Instagram. TikTok, I just got on TikTok.
Look at
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Got 4
TikTok,
videos on
man.
TikTok.
COVID opened his whole world.
It did.
It did. That I must say, I can see the difference.
Yep.
Well, see, it's a really great thing though, guys, because as chefs, you know, you sometimes have to be creative. You think about the pandemic and what happened in that. you know, we as chefs still thought in our minds how we could continue to reach our audience. And so folks like you who want to be in this industry, who care about food, care about the trends in food and what we're doing in sports entertainment. And Matt's been really innovative about, you know, making sure that he's able to keep his, you know, get his passion rolling and stay forward with forward movement with his dreams and aspirations of being, you know, continuing his career as a chef in the different avenues. So that's a really awesome way, guys, to, you know, just kind of think outside the box. No matter what it is that you're doing, you can always get to another level of it just by doing some different things. And I think that Matt's a great example of that. Carmen as well, always doing different things, traveling. I can't say that I've ever been uncomfortable in front of the camera. I think arrogance was given to me when I went to the Navy for years and years. So I'm naturally that. But what I can say is that I've always had the desire to be better and better. I've always had the desire to be the best. And if you keep that going for yourself and you internalize that desire, the sky's the limit for each and every one of you guys. And I just want to make sure that you guys know that, you know, as chefs, we want people to be in this industry. We want folks like you to come in and be excited about what it is that we do. And I just want to thank you guys for wanting to speak to us and give us an opportunity to share our journeys.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, I have Matt's contact information. So Matt, if you could send me all the Instagram handles, I will share that with the class. And I'm sure that we'll follow you on Instagram and TikTok too, probably.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions, or students? Do you have any questions you would like to ask? Questions or comments?
Anyone have any questions? Please feel free to ask away.
We got to get one question. One question.
I mean, I could ask a question. Someone else.
Yeah, perfect.
In the meantime, but so now that we have you know, 2 women here, I guess question is like, how is, because this is all girls school too, how is like in your field, can you talk about female and managerial roles, like you know, what is like the percentage there, and you know, are there any trends happening?
Females in the role, trends.
Yeah, if you could talk about particularly female in your industry.
Being a female in our industry.
Well, I guess I can kind of step in and help out with that. I'm sure Carmen has another perspective as well. When I started out in restaurant, out of all the line cooks, it was only me that was a line cook as a female. We did have a prep cook that was one other female, and other than that, it was a totally male-dominated kitchen. It wasn't easy because I felt outnumbered, right? And I felt like, wow, am I gonna really have an opportunity to be fair, to get a fair chance in this thing with all these guys in the industry? But the trend naturally is that this is a male-dominated career. But we have some awesome chefs right now, guys, that are women who are making a lot of moves here. We've got women who are Michelin star chefs now. So it has been a very distant journey as far as amount of women to men, the ratio of women to men, but the trend is changing. Women are making a lot of moves in this industry. Me and Carmen are just examples of, you know, some of the heights that we can conquer. There's right now, I think they may be 2 or 3 Michelin star, 3-star Michelin star chefs right now that are women. Amber Rail is also a really hugely successful restaurant chef. There's so many chefs that I can't even name now that are making moves in this industry. So the trend is changing. When I started, it was a little bit more difficult to find another executive chef that was a female. But now that's an opportunity that I will challenge anyone to do, including myself. You know, I've been an executive chef, but I am a head chef and program director now, so a little bit up higher than what I anticipated. But I feel like at the end of the day, you can do anything regardless of your gender, and women are conquering all kind of roles in this thing. And that's just my view on that. What do you think, Carmen?
Piggyback exactly on what she said. She can speak for both of us.
All right, awesome. Questions? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and ask.
Hi, so I have a question. I wanted to ask that like all three of your stories include like a lot of like hard work and a lot of honestly like pushing your boundaries. How do you keep yourself motivated to keep doing that? Because I know that sometimes when you work like very, very hard, you come to a point where like it almost like you have like no motivation left, or you just like don't know like how to push yourself further.
That's a really, really
Yeah.
good question.
Yeah,
Wow.
that is a good question.
I'll try to, let me try to answer this one. So, I don't know. I think my motivation has changed a lot over the years. I have two children now. I have a 4-year-old and a 7-month-old. And up until that, I would say the last 4 years, my motivation have been my kids, being able to provide for them and do some things. But also, I don't know if it's just me. I think my self motivation is seeing myself get to a position that I never thought was possible. And like I said, I've been at this position for 4 years, and I've still been learning. I got this position still green. I didn't know really what I was doing in the beginning. I remember opening the stadium. I thought I knew what I was doing at the time, but I've learned so much over the years. So I think the internal motivation to be the best that I can be, and also what's recently happened, and Carmen made a comment that COVID's opened my eyes, and it really has. For some reason, I don't know if it's just because we have for the last few years ran so fast and so hard and never really had time to sit down and stop and think. And when COVID hit, we were still in the building. We were doing some cool things, feeding homeless shelters and people that are food insecure. We did that for the first few months of COVID. But because of that, I had time to kind of think and reinvent myself. And to be 100% honest with you, where I met your teacher on Clubhouse was the start of my new journey of motivation, which is to help others and grow others. So that's kind of what I'm doing now. And at the same time, helping myself grow. So that's kind of why, I've never, ever plugged social media or Instagram. Besides Clubhouse, I think talking to you guys literally is my first time I've plugged my Instagram, which how long's Instagram been around? You guys have probably you've been using it longer than I have. I just started uploading content a couple months ago, which is pretty crazy. And then my first TikTok was last week. So reinventing myself, helping others grow, and getting the spotlight on this stadium and what we do here, because it is so amazing. And the stuff that we've been through, I always say, if we had a camera following us for the last 4 years, oh my gosh, can you
I
imagine
forgot
that?
to mention that you also become Bob the Builder. Everything.
Oh
that you
yeah,
build.
there's so many things. that
Yeah,
happen
he
out
is
here.
full of surprises. He's
Yeah.
so full of surprises.
I started a couple businesses during COVID, a woodworking business, which that was just a hobby of mine
and
during
he's great
COVID.
at it.
And it started taking off. And then the virtual flavor actually started as just helping a neighbor doing a virtual cooking class, which is now a real business and has taken off. I'm doing one again this Friday for a corporate company. So yeah, just continuing to grow and being comfortable, being uncomfortable. I got to a position in a spot where I was just kind of comfortable, and I would go to work and I would do my thing and I would work hard, and then I'd go home and have family time. But I figured that I want more to life than just that, and helping others is a huge part of it, and helping see myself take something from here and build it up to here is a really cool and rewarding feeling. So hope that answers your question.
Any other questions? I think you should open up a YouTube channel and do like the behind the scenes at the stadium. I mean, you talk about the largest, stadium in the world. And,
That's what his
Yeah, it's in the works. It's in the
Okay,
works.
cool.
And honestly, the magazine is part of that, and that's why there's steps and levels to it. So right now, content's going up on Instagram, and then we'll hit the magazine, and then it'll start really taking off. And I've been talking. I got to reset it. I've been talking to somebody about possibly doing a TV show, where they can follow us around. So as I progress, you guys will be able to see us at the stadium. What time is it?
It's 12 weeks. No, say we want to end it with showing him.
Oh, yeah.
Taking them to the kitchen.
What time is it right now?
12 o'clock.
12 on the dot?
Mhm.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's we're gonna continue to grow. So you guys will be part of that journey, seeing us go from what we're doing now to hopefully on the cover of a magazine.
We're actually sitting in one of the clubs, guys, that I run. This is actually one
Wow.
of the clubs.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're gonna
walk
give you
away.
guys a little tour.
Yeah.
All right, sounds awesome.
Yes, we're gonna take a little tour.
Oh, they're all age, but it's fine.
Do you have a couple minutes?
Yeah, go ahead. This isn't something we could like see, right? So no, it's great. That
All
you're
right, I'm
showing.
gonna
Do
turn
they
this
have any
camera
other questions
around.
while we walk?
And I guess, while you're doing it, if you could talk about a little bit about like, how is it different to work in, you're like a hybrid of entertainment and hospitality industry.
Yep.
So how is it different than like working in a normal, like, I guess a quote unquote normal as in like traditional like restaurant versus
Yeah.
like club and
So-
catering towards athletes and events?
Yeah, it's way different.
Yeah.
I mean, a restaurant, you're going to the same spot, you're cooking the same food every day. That's why I like sports and entertainment so much, because there's so much going on. Again, we have suites, which is there's a chef for suites and he has a whole team. There's clubs and restaurants, which is Chef Carmen. She has a whole team. There's the culinary academy. There's I mean, there's so many different variations to culinary and cooking. And the people that get into sports and entertainment usually stay in sports and entertainment. The people that get into restaurants usually stay in restaurants. So they are two completely different things, but you can learn both of them really and be able to excel at them. So
Yeah. I mean, I was in restaurant for quite some time. So, restaurant is great. It's it has its benefits. But when you're in this type of and you're in food and beverage and sports and entertainment, you're actually able to do anything you want to do. I mean, in the restaurant, you're a tad bit limited, right? You got that one menu, you've got, that maybe a couple BEOs that come in that will basically a catering thing you may have to do with the same menu from that same menu, different items that they choose from. Here, you have the space and room to grow and do anything you want to do. You can move from clubs to suites. You can, go to work and come with me to work at the academy. You can do so many different things that you never get bored. So this is a different kind of concept and a much more universal way of working in this industry.
And as for me, I get to have fun because my menus are always different. So for every game that we have, I have a different menu. So I get to use my imagination, play with food, put out really good food out there. So, yeah.
cool.
All right, let's go, guys. Oh, let me get my.
So this is the entrance of Truist Club. Whoops, hold on one sec. Hopefully I didn't mess that up. Okay, here we go. All right, so yeah, this is the entrance. So if you look here, gorgeous bar, and I'm gonna have Carmen kind of lead the way. So this holds about 700, 800 people on a game day.
Which is what we have on Saturday, right?
Yeah. And there's different areas of the stadium. So right now there's no food, obviously, but this is an open show kitchen. So this piece of equipment right here is a Jade unit, and it's got everything you need. You have a grill, a flat top, a fryer. It's all open to the public to see. And then we have all these nice landing spots, which all the food lands on. We do a lot of small plates. And then over here, this is all the seating. Very, very big club, gorgeous. And then over here is the Nook. This is what we call the Nook. So this is where we do a lot of the fanfare, and we do, shrimp cocktails and sushi and wings and hot dogs and all the stuff that people come to a stadium for. And then on the other side, that's all the higher end food items. I think we have, how many items on this menu? Probably 15 at least. There's probably about 15 items on this menu that Chef Carmen writes every game day. And then behind there, this wall is an actual full kitchen. So that's where, all the behind the scenes stuff happens in this club. There's another one, and we can walk out this back door and hit the field. There's another one that is on the other side of the stadium that holds the same amount of people. And this is one of 7 clubs that Chef Carmen has. We're gonna walk out to the field real quick just so you can see this. So here's the tunnel that the players come out of.
And Matt, it'd be a great time to talk about the events we hold out here on the field.
Yeah, there you go.
We do all kind of events on the field.
I wish we could take a
Remember
picture.
Coca-Cola, we did about how much,
Yeah. Yeah, so if you look up here, that is one of Carmen's other clubs. This is if we're up on the 300 level, you can see the entire city out of that window, which is really cool.
Wow, nice stadium.
So right now we're on the field right where the team is. Obviously, this is where they play. So gorgeous, gorgeous stadium.
Wow. Yeah. And you host the Falcons, right? There in the stadium?
Yeah, Atlanta Falcons football and Atlanta United soccer.
Yeah, next time I watch
our tripod and stuff.
the next time I watch the Falcons game, I'll definitely think about your team there.
Yeah,
Wow, awesome.
absolutely.
I
Atlanta
have a
United.
question.
Atlanta United plays on Saturday. If you guys want to catch that game.
Ah, okay. Yeah, go ahead, Katie.
I have a question. How many clubs and restaurants do you have within the whole facility?
The whole stadium. So we have there's 7 clubs and restaurants, or 8 clubs and restaurants that hold upwards of almost 1,000 people in each one. And then also the suites, if you guys know, like the boxes when you go to a stadium or arena, there's 200 of those, and they have a full extensive menu. So yeah, 8 clubs and restaurants, 53 concession stands, 200 suites, and then catering. Every little space in the building has some sort of catering going on game day.
How many people do you serve on an average game day?
So for soccer, Atlanta United is 40,000, and for Falcons is 70,000.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot of people.
Yeah, that's, well, I mean, yeah, anyone else with questions? Well, yeah, thank you so much for taking your busy time. I you know, like you said, you have a game coming up, and yeah, I know it's like lunchtime there, and so you're nearing lunchtime.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we
But you're
definitely,
quite
this is part of it, is, you know, reaching out and being able to not only collaborate, but hopefully inspire even one person to do something that they want to do. So hope somebody got something out of this.
Yeah, well, we all did. And thank you so much again. And then Matt, I will definitely follow up with you. And
Cool.
I will to follow, all 3 of you, and stay in touch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank
We'll,
you. Nice to meet you,
we'll
girls.
send you,
Bye.
I'll send you all our contact info. So if anyone wants to reach out on the side to these ladies or myself, feel free.
Yes, for sure.
All right. Well, thank you
All
so
right,
much.
guys.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Bye. Have a good one.
So
All
cool.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
That was so cool. Oh my God. I'm sorry. What? That was ridiculous. I feel like I met